Indeed, we are excited to confirm that tourists have increased from the UAE into Kenya, well, larger picture into Africa. And we want to pride ourselves as Kenyans in the fact that we have tourism products that are very unique in the sense that we have authentic wildlife safari, which is a big attraction to the market in UAE. We also have our which is almost unparalleled with two of the top beaches in Africa, Diani and Watamu. But that aside, we also have packages that allow for family travel, student groups, and more to that, we have adventure. I know that in UAE there is a lot of excitement in terms of man-made nature, but in Kenya we have a lot of natural settings which the tourists from the UAE region find very exciting for them.
The increased frequency by Kenya Airways and indeed other airlines have been both on tourism and leisure travel as well as trade between for goods and services. And we think that is going to continue to increase because of the East African community integration come from there, as well as the demands and other products. But mostly it has been on travel by people going for business, tourism, holiday, and not only Kenya Airways but other airlines. We've seen Rwanda Air coming via Mombasa into Rwanda, also Ethiopia, which does not go through Middle East, and they have also increased their capacity, the frequency, and their load factors have been improving. So we can attribute this to tourism more than the other sector, but still the other sector is growing given the exports and imports into Kenya. But what we're happy about Kenya is that the flight connectivity is really, really good. I don't think in any other part of Africa we have such good connectivity, and that facilitates travel to Kenya. We saw a growth of over 90% between end of 2011 and end of 2012. So we were at 21% at the end of 2011 and about 40,000, 21,000 at 2011 and 40,000 at the end of 2012. That gives us the confidence to know that this region, specifically the UAE, can even do much better. We've participated at ATM for the last 9 years, and this year we've come with 9 companies. Next year we've more companies, because this gives us the opportunity to develop unique products to suit the market and the other new trade who are not selling Kenya and learn what they can benefit in terms of their business, because they have clients now who want to come to Africa. They have been going all over the world and now looking into Africa. As my colleague says, if you want authenticity, if you want nature, Kenya offers you at a very luxurious level, and there are a lot of interesting activities also to engage in. So I think that justifies the airline growth that you mentioned.
The formation of East African community obviously has had a large impact on regional tourism in East Africa. How do you see the impact of a common visa for EAC?
I think what we notice that the East African region and probably part of Central Africa actually has the largest concentration of wildlife country, all over the world. If you look at the populations of wildlife in all those 3-4 countries, we are happy that that is where the nerve center of the wildlife is. So for us, that is already a strength where we are able to sell all special species of the earth, really, right from the Rwandan gorillas to the Kenyan's many elephants to the wildebeest migration to the Ngorongoro crater, all unique things that we have combined, the Lake Victoria which cuts across. So the exciting bit is that we are able to package in terms of just our tourists, not just a one-stop, but we are able to increase the number of days for spent by tourists generally in the region, so that they have a feel of both Tanzania, of the 3 countries, the 5 countries, Burundi, Rwanda, Kenya, Uganda and Tanzania. So for us, it's working very well in terms of increased spent time, longer holidays, and we are more competitive as that part of Africa compared to other parts of Africa, because we now have a product that is very comprehensive, something from the beaches to the mountains to the climbing of Mount Kenya, Mount Kilimanjaro. So for us, it's really welcome. Of course, the EAC is working at the joint visa where we are looking at tourists gaining entry into Uganda and being able to access Kenya, Tanzania, Burundi, and Rwanda using the same. So we're looking forward to the conclusion of that. It's really exciting, and it's something that we would really want fast track so that visitors are able to access. I think in many of the countries, one of the biggest challenges ever, whenever you want to travel to a country, sightseeing or just visiting, the biggest hurdle sometimes is just the visa. To be a really markup. Of course, the other exciting thing is that all the East African countries have an East African ministry, and the structures of government are such that the East African ministry in every country gets a lot of impetus from tourism. And we have seen a merger in Kenya with the new government structure of East African Community Ministry and the Tourism Ministry together with commerce. And for us, that places us very well as tourism, because then we are at the center of economic activities, some of which include, of course, intra-trade within the East African countries.
So what measures is Kenya Tourism Board taking to further market Kenya as a tourist destination around the world?
The media is important for Kenya because it has a big market, and most of the people here actually, as you know, they are expats or residents, and all of them, or majority of them, has a lot of spending power and spending capacity, and the opportunities for them are great because when they do travel and they own companies, therefore they don't have to appear at their company, and when they take leave also, so you can say the opportunity, the time to take holidays is available, the resources to take holidays are available, and as you've just seen, the airline capacity to move them even to East Africa and Kenya specifically is there. These fundamental that are working for Kenya. If you look at the case of Dubai, we are doing fairly well. We are not yet where we want to be, but we can just continue to grow. We are looking into other markets within the region, that is Qatar and Saudi Arabia and Oman. We've had previously done some activities where we go meet with the trade, we introduce the Kenyan products to them. Some do understand, some were actually positively surprised to realize there are unique things they can be able to do in Kenya, just not wildlife. For example, incentive travel. You have big corporations employing a lot of people from Europe, from Africa, from Asia, yet these people can move as a group and do some activities away in an interesting way, in manner. And we've had those who have come to Kenya really positively giving good feedback, saying that they want to go back with their families. So in terms of the strategy, we are looking at Qatar, Saudi Arabia and Oman for now, and we are going there with specifically looking at holiday segments and corporate travel. It is safe destination. We just finished our election. The transition from the old government to the new government was seamless. It was very peaceful, and a lot of business which were held pending confirmation and pending to see that Kenya finish elections, these are starting to be realized. We are just approaching the peak season for Kenya, that's the migration period, and accommodation, it's actually, you may not be able to get if you want to book now. So that's how Kenya is performing well. The airlines have reported capacity load factors increasing over this period of time, and it can only grow better. So we welcome them. Come and enjoy and sample the product we have. Thank you.
My message to anybody wanting to visit Kenya, karibu sana. That means you are most welcome. And the exciting bit for us is that the Kenyan people are very warm. Right from your arrival to the airport, to your hotel, to when you take your safari, be sure that it's a warm welcome to Kenya, and you'll feel part of us as soon as you arrive.